after the meeting. You can find this recording in the meeting chat or on Microsoft Stream. Got it. Okay. Okay, we're recording. Okay, let's get started. Hi, my name's Sarah Albin. I'm the General Manager of Community at the Geelong Cats. I'm also a wife. I'm a mother of 3 small boys and a puppy dog called Raph. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, granddaughter, an aunt, a niece, a cousin, a friend, a mentor, and a mentee. I'm part of Geelong Mums, Active Geelong, Read the Play, and the new Geelong Suicide Prevention Initiative. We all wear so many hats, which is a wonderful segue to my very special guest today, a woman that is incredible, that I'm absolutely in awe of, a woman I've had the pleasure of working with for many, many years, and alongside too. She also wears a lot of hats. Welcome, Dr. Dominique Kondo.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for having me today.
Pleasure. Now, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. You have been on the road for many, many weeks. You're up in Queensland in the hub at the moment. I know you're busy and you're slotting this in between many appointments, but thank you so much for chatting to us today.
No, it's my pleasure. It really is. And as I said, thanks for having me. And yes, we have been on the road for a while, but hopefully a little while to go if things keep going the way they are. So can't complain.
Fingers crossed. Great win against Essendon. Now, I've done my research and I'd love to provide our viewers with a little bit of a background about you. So the list was long, so I've needed to condense it. We would have missed our whole 20 minutes just reeling off your many, many achievements. But bear with us. This is incredible. You have a PhD. You're an accredited sports dietitian. You're a performance dietitian with our AFL men's team, the Cats AFL men's team, and you're also the player development manager for the AFL women's team. You work with the WNBL Melbourne Boomers. Incredible. You also, and I don't know how you fit all this in, you hold an academic position with Deakin University in the sports nutrition unit. And on top of all that, you're also the vice president at the Sports Dietitians Australia. And I feel like there's a lot of ands here. You are amazing. You consult privately via Dr. Dom, and just a quick plug for your new website. It looks beautiful. So that's www.dr-dom.com.au. That is many hats that you wear. Kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. So when you say them all at once, it does seem like a bit, but I can tell you they don't all happen at once. They're not all crazy at the same time. So we learn to balance them well. But no, I'm very, very lucky to be able to work with the people that I do, and it's great. I really enjoy it.
Well, perhaps an element of luck, but I think there's a lot of skill when it comes to your job. Now, today is Are You OK Day. That's the National Day of Action where we focus on and really concentrate on our friendships and ourselves. So I'm going to start today's interview by saying, are you okay?
Thank you for that question. I think such an important question and such a simple question to ask that can mean so much. So thank you for asking. And yes, I am okay today. I'm feeling great this morning. Asked me last week, maybe not quite the same situation. So I think we all do have those days where we may not be, and that's why asking the people you care about, and even those that you may not know that well, that question is important. So I am okay. Are you okay?
Oh, thank you. I am. And look, the same as you. You have your days, you have your ebbs and flows, and some days, it really is a continuum where you might start the day and you'll bounce out of bed and feel like you're on top of the world, and you might hit a rocky patch and lift, and by the end of the day you're feeling okay again. But look, that's okay to feel that way, and I think it's really important that we self-check in with how we're feeling as well. Absolutely. It is tricky. You're on the road. You're away from your husband. You're away from your family and your friends. What are you doing to check in with them at the moment?
Well, thank goodness for FaceTime and for technology. I think it's difficult as it is, but it would be so hard if that wasn't the case. So at least with being able to see their faces daily, you get a little piece of home. So just do try and check in on a daily basis, have a phone chat, a FaceTime chat with the hubby and my puppy and mum and dad back home. home as well. So doing that, I've tried to talk really loudly so my puppy can hear my voice, and I sort of think maybe that means he won't forget me because it's been 9 weeks. But no, that's sort of a part of the daily routine, is to check in with them pretty frequently.
Now, Dom, I follow you on Instagram and I love your account. I find it so positive and uplifting. And I feel like I know Rusty, your puppy dog. And I love your videos and your photos of you FaceTiming. And he feels like he's connecting with the screen. There's just no doubt he's going to forget his mummy, that's for sure.
Oh, let's hope not. But, we'll make sure that even if it takes him a little while, I'm sure it will come back pretty quickly. So I can't wait to see them, actually. It's, it's a long time.
Long time. This week's also Women's Health Week, and you have such a wealth of knowledge in this area. And I'd love to dive in, because I'm sure with your knowledge and expertise, you're going to provide many pearls of wisdom today to remind and encourage women to look after themselves and take positive action for their health and well-being. So I'm going to start in your area of expertise, which is nutrition. So what unique nutritional needs do women have?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I guess, firstly, I want to just bring it back to the basics that women often forget about. And that's really just having a really wholesome diet and making sure that we actually have enough energy to do everything that we do in a day. I think women are so incredible in all the hats that they need to wear and do it well. And it does take a lot of energy. And this is, I guess, a broad stereotype, but a lot of women are also dealing with body image issues that we have out there, and especially with social media and whatnot. And so there's this sort of thought to always try and be watching our weight or thinking about what we're eating, and that can come with some energy deficit and really not fueling our bodies properly for what women do in a day. So I think number one is just making sure that we're looking after ourselves, enough energy, enough good wholesome food. When it comes to the specifics, there are nutrients that are really important for women. Iron is one of them, and at certain ages, so between the ages of 19 and 50, the requirement for iron is a lot higher in women than what it is in men. And also calcium is essential, so very essential for men as well. But I think with women, we often, what we see in younger girls anyway, is a bit of a drop off of the calcium intake, and what we know is that can really affect bone health as we get older as well. So calcium is absolutely essential for women too. And obviously at different stages of the life cycle, women have specific requirements. So through pregnancy and breastfeeding, there are changes in the nutritional requirements, and when it comes to energy intake through breastfeeding too. So my advice would be to definitely make sure that you understand what those requirements are at different stages, and adapt the diet to match those. But I think number one is just making sure we're fueling our bodies for what we do, and women often think about everyone else but themselves.
It's the old philosophy about putting the oxygen mask to breastfeeding there. And for me, I just was reflecting, as you said, that on how thirsty I became. So not just in terms of my food intake, but certainly water.
Water, yes. And you're losing a lot of fluid. So
that is true. So now the other thing about food is there's direct correlation with mood. So talk to us about food and mood.
Yeah, it's a really, not that it's a new area, but the research is really growing in this area, and it will continue to grow, which is really exciting. I guess what we know again right now is that it's very much around dietary patterns more so than specific nutrients. So with those dietary patterns, and it's nothing overly complicated, but again, it's coming down to making sure we've got our whole grains. So fiber is really important when it comes to mood, and there's a lot of new research happening in that space. So having a really wholesome diet, really high in whole grains, which is high in fiber, and lots of your fruits and veggies, and that sort of helps to look after your gut. So looking at the gut microbiome, and that's really where a lot of the research is at the moment. There are also different supplements, things like probiotics and different strains of specific probiotics where a lot of research is happening as well. So it's a really new and developing area. But the key there with mood, again, is to be looking at your really wholesome whole foods, high fibre, high in grains, and avoiding some of those really processed, highly refined foods. What we know is that can really help to improve mood when we're eating dietary patterns of that way.
Oh, great! That's terrific advice, and it has been interesting watching that research come through. And I was reading a book the other day called "There's a Zoo in My Poo."
Yeah,
so it's important to understand what the microbiomes look like and whatnot's very important.
Absolutely.
Now, we're going to try to find what are your 5 top tips that women need to consider from a nutrition perspective. So how would you define those?
Oh, 5 tips. Okay, so I would say women need to get adequate energy intake, number 1. Women need to have a high iron intake, so looking at red meat in particular, but also making sure you can get iron from other foods, so making sure that they have a high iron intake. Women need to have adequate water intake, so fluid and hydration is really, really important. Now, what the recommendation is 8 glasses of water a day. To be honest, that's not based on a whole lot of evidence, but it just gives at least a goal to aim for. So a couple litres of fluid a day is really important. I know it's nothing overly sexy, but fruit and veg, so making sure you're getting in your 2 and 5. And again, that will then cross over into adequate fibre, which will look after the gut as well. So that's really important. And also, I think for women, it's about enjoying food too. And that for me is so important, that we can make sure we're eating for nutrition and for health, obviously, but also making sure that our food is something that we enjoy and that does make us happy. And whether that be, enjoying our favourite bit of chocolate every so often, or having a meal with our loved ones, I think, it's important to remember the passion around food as well.
They are incredible tips. Thank you so much. And I'll finish with one final question. What is your favorite meal or dish or food?
Oh, this is I have a few things that are my favourites or weaknesses. For me, gelato is just up there. So I could eat a litre very easily if it was in front of me. So I do love it. And so, yeah, that's definitely up there. And Japanese food as a cuisine is my favourite. So all the raw fish and the sushi and just their cooking techniques and styles, I adore Japanese food. So they're my 2 things that I really love.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. Now we're going to segue over to one of my very favourite subjects, and a subject that I just found absolutely fascinating: sleep.
Yes.
And I know you've done a lot of work at the Geelong Football Club in and around sleep. Just how important is it?
Oh, I don't even think there are words to articulate how important it is. It's honestly number 1 when it comes to recovery from a physical and mental perspective. What we know now is that it's so important for longevity. For all parts of our health, sleep is just crucial. And unfortunately, in today's world, it's something that is compromised a fair bit for everything else that we try and fit in. And I am definitely guilty of that myself. When you're trying to work numerous jobs, you think, I can fit it in by sleeping a little bit less. But it honestly is so important to protect. Because we just know the benefits that it can have from a health perspective.
So A1.
Yes.
Dom, I've personally tracked my sleep with a few different apps and using my Garmin. Do you track your sleep? And if so, what do you monitor and watch for?
Yeah, so I do track my sleep. Here at the Cats, we use a tracking device called an Oura Ring. I'm actually wearing it right now. I don't know if you can see that. So it's very much like a Fitbit, I guess, in that it tracks your sleep through movement, and also looks at your heart rate and your breathing rate. And so it uses that to then be able to know when you've fallen asleep. So all of those sort of devices will give you a really good insight just around your sleeping trends. So what you would want to look for is things like your total sleep time, your sleep onset latency, which is how quickly it takes to fall asleep, and your wake times overnight. So it's really great to be able to understand just, what your sleeping patterns are like. What some of the devices will also tell you is your sleep stages. So whether you're in a deep sleep, a REM sleep, a light sleep, it's really important to understand that those measures are not validated unless you're looking at them through all of the like the brain electrodes that you would go into a lab to look at. That's the only way you can really believe that number that's giving you or that value. But it does allow you to, again, just look at different trends. So after you've got enough data on yourself, if you're seeing differences, you can start to understand, well, maybe it was due to different factors. But to really hand on heart say that, you got an hour of deep sleep a night based on the devices that we would have, I wouldn't be relying on that all the time. But again, it really does paint a picture for what your total sleep time might be. I guess I just wanted to add with that is that it does give us great information, and it's, these days we've got so much data that we can collect on ourselves in all different ways, and it's great here for the players. We've collected in both the boys and the girls to look at recovery, and we go on about sleep here a fair bit. But a lot of people do struggle with sleep. A lot of people have a lot of anxiety around sleep, and sometimes, wearing these devices can heighten that. And so my advice would just be, use them to benefit you. If it is causing anxiety and it's worsening some of the issues, then in my opinion, it's probably not worth tracking to the point that some people do. So I think, given what this week is about, it's just important to remember to look after your mental health. That comes number one. And if you are struggling and all of this data can sometimes make that feel a bit overwhelming, then it might be an idea to have a bit of a break from it. And then once you're feeling a little bit better, you can get onto that again.
That's terrific advice. Dom, you have been incredible in helping us form one of our primary school education programs called Healthy Heroes. And I love the work that you've done for Year 3-4 students around sleep. And I think they'd probably transfer over, but I'll ask you the question because you are the expert. So one of the key pieces of advice that we provide to our 3-4 students is about switching off devices and not being in front of a screen for an hour before bedtime. Does that translate up to adults as well?
Absolutely. That is key number one. So we go on about sleep hygiene a fair bit, and sleep hygiene, comes into things like making sure that the room of your temperature is right, making sure that you've got, not too much light, that all of those things that can help just get your sleep environment in the right way. And within that is the technology piece. So there's a few things around the technology. Firstly, it is the blue light on the screens that can activate the brain and it can actually keep it activated for a period of time, even once you put it down. And I know that there are a lot of blue light, blockers now and whatnot to help with that, and the glasses that you can wear. So all of that can help. But on top of that, it does just wake us up again. When you're on your phone, most of people, especially adults more so, would be just flicking through social media. Things can come up and get you thinking about things, and you just don't need that when you're trying to fall asleep. So the technology piece and putting it away, and I always say an hour before, start your sleep routine. So put the phone away, have the shower if that's what you do, brush your teeth, have a cup of tea, do whatever the things are to get your body and your mind ready for bed, and give yourself an hour to do that and to unwind, and that's really important. And especially in today's world, technology doesn't stop, the internet never sleeps, so it's important that we protect ourselves and make sure we put that away.
Awesome. Now, Dom, you're a self-confessed gym junkie, I read on your website, and I've witnessed in real life. And my sources up in the pub, and I do have some sources up there, tell me that you've been leading the charge for the staff and the exercise. I think you're a pretty hard taskmaster from what I'm hearing. Why is exercise so important to you? I mean that in a kind way, by the way. I've heard you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I am a bit of a gym junkie. I know I think I have got myself a bit of reputation here in the hub for being in the gym a lot. No, for me, it's my way that I de-stress. I guess I start the day with exercise. I try and end my day with exercise. And it doesn't always have to be intense. Sometimes I really love an intense workout, and other times it's just getting into an environment where I feel like I can switch off a little bit, and just a time for me. So I'll put the earphones in, and it'll either be my favorite music blasting or a podcast that makes me feel good. So it's just my time, and it always has been. And exercise has got me through some really, really difficult times in my past. And so it's just a habit that I maintain, and I just feel like it balances me really well.
It's a lovely habit to be in. So before we sign off, we've got a couple more minutes. I'd love to hear from you about any recommended websites or social media platforms that you follow that give, obviously evidence-informed advice that you think, that's a great resource. Is there any that come to mind?
Yeah, so for me, a podcast that I love, is called Finding Mastery, with Dr. Michael Gervais. It's about he's a psychologist, a sports psychologist, and it's about, I guess, in the high performance sort of world, but it's absolutely incredible. Just the conversations that he has, it leaves you feeling so positive and enthusiastic and motivated. So that's awesome. I guess from a social media perspective, sometimes it's as simple as just reading some words that get you ready for the day, and just make you, I guess, reflect a little bit. And the Happiness Institute, for me, on Instagram, I repost them a lot. Sometimes you just want to read a quote that gets you up and about. So that's fantastic. And I have had a lot of, I guess, personal experience in my past, but also now helping others that may experience issues with food, with eating disorders, with body image concerns. And the Butterfly Foundation is an amazing foundation that helps in that way. And they've got such great resources, and also always have a great account. So I love to follow them as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Dr. Dom, you have got such a zest for life. You've been such a wonderful person to chat to today, and all the other yesterdays that we've had these great conversations. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on your new consulting business. Incredible, and another feather to your very Latin hat. You are amazing. Thank you so much for joining us in Women's Week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah.